Hey folks, welcome to my next radio project. It's this really neat Olympic radio from 1946. It's a Model 6 502 All-American 5. I love this design. Beautiful walnut cabinet, really neat bakelite pointer. The knobs appear to be original, and I love this slanted front right here with this cutout. What a really cool cabinet. I think these vertical grille bars also just make this thing really special. Now this radio is going to go to a good friend of mine that I work with. He and his wife have a cabin. It was made about this same time out by a lake. And they were looking through my radio collection. I'd never restored this one, and said, hey, is it available? So this is a gift to them, just a freebie. So I'll spend a little bit of time on the cabinet here, probably do a little restore finish, and so it'll have some scars on it, which would be perfect. And we'll see if we can get this thing playing. For some reason we can't, then I'll cut the cord, and again this will be used for display only. But again, I've never opened this thing up. I've had it probably for 10 or 12 years on my shelf, so I'm excited to look in it, see what we've got, and make sure the the chassis itself is complete. Again, it's All-American 5. And when I was doing some research on the Radio Museum, they're listing that this particular radio sold for $31.95 back in the day. They also made this same radio, is my understanding, in a bakelite, brown and ivory. So let's turn this thing around here and take a look at the back side, and then we'll pop the chassis out. Hey, before I flip it around, I failed to show the side here. So again, a few scars here, battle scars, but looks to be in pretty good shape. Let's see what this other side right here or in looks like. Yeah, it looks like it's in really good shape as well. So here's the back of the radio again, and it looks pretty good shape considering. Still has the back cover, which is seems to be very rare these days. It's not in great shape. I may have to try to square it up just a little bit, just to make sure it stays attached. But again, I'm not sure if it's showing up on camera or not. But you can see here again. Let me kind of tilt it back, maybe a little bit, show up better in the lighting. It's the Model 6-502. Got the original line cord, and you can see the condition of the line cord here. Really bad shape, but that's kind of neat. So maybe nobody's been in this radio and been tampering with it and doing any work. So that'd be my hopes anyway. So let's get a pair of cutters up here, because this thing's no good. Cut this off. Get that out of the way. Let's get these fasteners off here in the corners and pull the back out. And then we'll remove the cabinet screws and pull the chassis out. So the first thing that I see, again, I got there was only 3 fasteners. Actually, there's the fourth one. Let me pull it out. Actually, the cardboard back had been broken off in this particular corner, so these clips are hard to come by. It's kind of cool to grab it, but this is interesting. So I was wondering if somebody had been in here before, and this screw is just laying here. So hopefully that doesn't mean that this chassis is a train wreck, but we'll see. Let me look at how this thing is, mounted here to the wooden cabinet, and then we'll take a closer look here at the chassis. Okay, preparing the chassis to be removed from that wooden cabinet here, I had to remove the dial pointer and these knobs But man, just quickly, check out this dial pointer. What a piece of artwork that is. Beautiful bakelite material in perfect shape, and man, this thing came right off the shaft, and I sure am glad, because I'd hate to break this. A priceless piece there. Hopefully it shows up on camera. Just gorgeous. And these knobs are, again, they appear to be original. Very, very nice. And you can tell, I mean, good quality set for the time. They put felt behind the knobs there to keep from scuffing up the wooden cabinet, which is neat. So anyway, one of the fasteners that holds the cabinet was already loose, and on this side, then I removed this other one off camera. It was kind of in there to angle, which was difficult. And this thing is actually supported. It's kind of neat. There's horizontal slits that run back into the cabinet, and this cabinet itself actually is attached from the back side, and we can get it out here. We'll take a look at it. But before we look at that, let's look at this cabinet design for folks that haven't seen inside of one. And hopefully this is showing up on camera good. But again, you got this slanted design, those beautiful grill bars that we talked about. But here's that design. Check this out. They put a block of wood here, and they've just got these cuts here. And again, the top side of the metal chassis just slides in, and then this is kind of hollowed out here, but this is where the fasteners themselves stay. And I can see why this one shows up on camera is actually stripped out. So that's probably why it just fell out. But that's a neat design. I'm not sure I've done a restore that's had the chassis mounted to the cabinet in this form or fashion. So pretty neat. Let me get that back here. So we'll take a look at this. Again, it's got the original antenna. LP-163 294. I'm not sure what that means, but probably just the part number itself. Get this thing around, and yeah, it looks great. Not sure if that's showing up on camera well or not with the lighting that I have, but all the tubes are in place. I see no rust on the chassis, and man, I feel fortunate and blessed about that. I'm kind of getting burnt out on derusting all these old chassis. Check out this neat design to accommodate that slanted dial. See, they got a bracket there fabricated, and that tuning condenser is shifted up at an angle there. So that's really neat to look at. When we get into the electrical, we'll look at these tubes closer and check them out. So let's flip this thing over here and see what the underneath side looks like. Looks to be in pretty good shape. I can see where the electrolytic capacitors have been replaced. Again, that's a dual section. You can tell by the soldering, the bracket itself here, and of course the generation or the vintage of that. And these caps, before I do anything, I'll check, replace all the capacitors, check all the resistors. But you see this cap here, if it's showing up on camera, is actually the end of it's blown out. But again, all American 5, I think the restoration should go off without a hitch. But again, I'll probably just kind of go for it, because there's very few components, and then hopefully all the IFs will work. If not, I'll substitute one, see if we can't make this thing play again. Speaker looks great, so I'll put some cardboard over that to protect it so I don't run my fingers through it, which I've done on 2 or 3 restorations in the past, and try to clean up a little bit on this dial area, and just give the old cabinet just kind of a clean up there. That's probably about all it will take, and we should be able to get this thing going. There is some discolorization here around the audio output transformer, so hopefully that's not a bad sign. this thing overheated for some reason, but time will tell. So folks, hey, for ones that have been following my restoration too, I wanted to mention on that Chanticleer 2D 570, just stay with me on that one. I'm just waiting for the weather to break here in the Carolinas so I can spray some lacquers. The humidity's been extremely high, 80-90%, and I think everybody remembers the 65 rule. So I'm just waiting for a day with less humidity and be able to get the toner lacquers out and some clear and finish up on that cabinet. I've still got right much work to do on that, so I hope to have another video up in the next couple weeks or so again, if the weather allows me to continue that restoration at this point in time. But again, I'll be getting this restoration started, and I'll probably do some additional videos or share some photos of my progress along the way, so I can get this to my good friend, and he can display this or play it accordingly if we can get it going at his little cabin in the woods. Appreciate all my new subscribers out there, and again, thanks for tuning in and watching this video.